what is this word?
Yeah.
We wanted to start the welfare work for the villages around.
Yep.
And we involved the wives of the workmen.
Yeah.
That was the first thing we involved. To keep them busy also, that they
Yep.
don't trouble their husband who was working 24 hours. And that was the main.
Right.
Workers also and men's wives also.
Yep.
Working together for the villages around.
Yep.
A lot of activities for them without realizing. And what our HR used to have.
Yeah.
But they have to guide us.
They have to. They have to. I don't know the answer. I do not know the answer to that question, and that's going to be dependent on your company, right? It's going to be dependent on your company. And let me tell you something. That's part of a learning environment within a company to recognize and invest. You may have this great HR person. Train them. Train them to understand CSR. That means you need to embed them into the rest of the company. This is where CSR is for some companies. It's over here. It's in the nice to have category. It's the cousin that's kind of, you don't invite to all the weddings. You know, it's over there. That's not good. So to enable this, it's got to be top down. That's the macro. And then the micro is everybody in the company has got to know about your CSR. Some companies have hundreds of thousands of employees, whether it's McDonald's with the McDonald's charity, the house, whether it's Starbucks with fair trade. Let me tell you, you go into Starbucks, every barista knows about their program. They're well educated and they understand it. Yes?
But if you begin early in school, if you teach children to be conscious of their social responsibility, to be a good citizen, then it will be very easy for anybody to handle the CSR program.
You know what? That's an excellent CSR initiative. Why don't you go into the schools and you teach them that?
Well, we do it in our schools.
Yeah, but does the company do it? You know, that's the point. The culture of the organization is in the hearts and the souls of the employees. Culture. It takes years to develop a corporate culture. Years. It takes minutes to destroy it. Everybody has to be, culture is a big word. I'm a big believer in culture. The most successful companies out there have sustainable culture within their organization. They invest in training. You take Emirates. Do you think those flight attendants just showed up and got the job? No. They have to go through an incredible training program, and let me tell you, only 30% of them make it. And they only sign them up for a few years. The bottom line is good governance structures and practices drive the pace that sustainability will go through your business, through the entire organization. You've got to make sure it's inclusive. Governance structures, lack of a shared vision and accountability. Now, you're going to see some other slides, but from a finance point of view, CFOs are now coming back to the CEOs and saying, this is working. This is a financial part of it that they're saying, yeah, we see the vision, we see the potential if we do this the right way. CSR develops without a coherent framework. You just can't say you're doing CSR. You have to have deliverables on it. The confusion from the bottom up, a lack of training and awareness. If your associates are not in, how do you expect your customers to be in? They're the first people, the front line that you have to train. Training budgets. If you're not going to fund it, don't do it. Limited or no access to external specialists or resources. I already said that. But the bottom line, if you're not treating it as a business-worthy environment, it will not receive the greatest assets of the company. What are the greatest assets of a company? It's talent. It's talent in marketing. It's talent in sales, in finance. All of the different divisions of your company that make your company work, you have to get to that to help your CSR. They have to be involved in it. Enabling. Number 3, monitoring and reporting. LPI. Does anybody know what LPI stands for? Lean Product Innovation. What does that mean? That means getting your customer involved in the process of developing a CSR program. Remember I gave you that example of Patagonia? Okay. That company should have called Patagonia, brought them in, their CSR person from Patagonia and said, hey, what can we do together? We're doing some great things here. Is this valuable if we do this? Patagonia's going to go, yeah. So you got the customer involved. You got a stakeholder involved in creating it. So you need to also do a pest analysis. You have to find out how liable is your CSR program. Will it be affected by political, environment, technology issues, social issues? So you have to do a pest analysis. Just imagine if you were acquiring another company. You have to do a pest analysis on that. This is another company. You do a pest analysis. What could threaten it? Assess the difference in the impact of the program along your key partners. When I did the Good Neighbor program, one of my partners early on was the Boy Scouts of America. Everybody knows about the Boy Scouts? It's an international, right? I started a program that was a latchkey program, which meant children would not go home in bad neighborhoods alone after they get out of school. They have a key to get in their house. They would go to a center, church center, wherever we could, and we were going to do programs for these kids after school. I spent a lot of money in the first year on this program. Guess what? I got rid of the Boy Scouts of America in the second year because they didn't do a good job. I didn't get enough kids. For the money I spent, I didn't get enough kids involved in the Latchkey program. I got rid of them. And they were upset. That's their problem. You know, they didn't execute. It wasn't worth it. Review the engagement, the policies, all of these things, because you will find that you're going to hit some barriers. When I did the Reaching Our Dreams program in New York City, do you know I couldn't get it started? How did I go from not getting it started to having toast and coffee with Mayor Bloomberg? These principals, the superintendents, they didn't want to do the program. Oh, we don't need that. Yeah, you do. You got a dropout rate of 56% here at your school. All we want to do is, listen, I want to bring in Doctor here to talk to the kids because she went to the school and say she studied, she got out, she got a degree, she's back. This is her road out. Mentor these students. I could not get the... Finally, I got one to do it. I got two to do it. Then the 1 and 2 called a bunch of their friends. And then they said, you got to bring these guys in. And then they started, we need more. But that was a roadblock. I couldn't get in. I knew the program would work, but I couldn't get it in. Evaluate your IT. How can you support your program? Listen, you want to measure your CSR for effectiveness? You've got to make sure IT is involved to make sure that it's working. How do you measure success? How did I measure it at the Good Neighbor program? Actually, you know how I measured it? I looked at case movement of products sold by all of those brands from previous quarters, previous years, and the effectiveness of getting their brand awareness out there and selling more of it. So we had to do some measurement on that. Connecting, assessing best practices. Look, here's a couple of really good companies to go online and check out. Global Reporting Initiative and the Global Compact. HR people here, business people here, take a look at these organizations. They are really good, and you'll get some best practices out of them. I don't know if anybody's involved in it, but take a look at these. And communicate. We already talked about that. Sustainability is no longer just something for making a company better. It's become crucial to a company's ability to show it has the right to exist. Those are powerful words. CSR is more complex than original thought. Oh yes, you're going to make some mistakes. You are. There's no doubt about it. Guess what? Even when we acquire a new business or we start up a new division, we make mistakes, we pivot, we adjust. That's business. Same thing happens here. The buy-in and support of the partners is not all in. There's a lack of trust. Remember we said that people don't really know if they can trust, if you're going to deliver on your governments, on your... People really don't know and trust you. There's a conflicting messages. Listen, one of the things we stress in an MBA class is your message platform that you create within your company, that there's one, and everybody delivers the same message. CSR has got to be done the same way. So your salespeople that are out there, they got to have a cheat sheet that identifies what that CSR program, so when they're going out there and sell it. The infrastructure is not sound. The cost and the benefits. We can go through this. But I want to talk about something else. I want you to concentrate your efforts on it. Gain a deeper understanding of the mutual dependencies. Speak to your partners. When you bring them in and you find out what the issue is between the partners that you have in, you create your CSR program. So they say, you know what, Dan, we're having a real problem with children getting sick because of not washing their hands. Okay? Okay. You know what? We manufacture soap. Okay. What should we do about it? Well, let's start some kind of program, promote that brand that we create. We'll donate it to the different areas of the world where cleanliness is going to be an issue to keep kids from getting sick, whatever it may be. But if you don't have that discussion, you don't identify what the cause and what product that you may have can fix it. Build an understanding of the benefits is really, really important. Be transparent on the issues. Be open enough to understand the issues from a business and societal perspective. Okay? You have to make sure that if you're going to do a CSR program that's driving bottom line profits, it better be serving the community. Because if you're just doing it to drive bottom line profits and you're not doing any effective social development, guess what's going to happen to you? It's like fraud. You're not going to gain the trust of your customer by doing it that way. Find the partners the first time. I already gave you the example of the Boy Scouts. Here's some questions I'm going to show you. These are the questions you need to ask yourself. What are one of the two critical areas in our business we interface with that we can have an impact on society? You need to bring stakeholders in to find that out. What are the long-term needs for us in the society that can be addressed as a result? What capabilities do we need? Well, here's an example. I'm a CEO of a bioagrotechnology company, okay? And I need to get involved in a CSR program. So I'm involved in agriculture, I've got scientists working for me. I'm developing better grains, better reproduction practices, whatever. That's my company. And believe it or not, I sold my first business to a bioagri company. So that's why I'm using it as an example. So I'm that company. I'm a conglomerate. All of a sudden I look in Sri Lanka and I find out that these two nonprofit agencies here, Oxfam and Shujog, are working with the agriculture social enterprises in Sri Lanka. Okay? The aim for these SEs is to get money to grow, get some technology, identify relevant marketing opportunities, improve the bargaining power of the farmers, economic development. But here's the problems that they face. So these social enterprises, they don't have access to what? Money. Yeah, they don't have money. Nobody's going to let them borrow money. No bank is going to be it. But I'm a bioagrotechnology company with a CSR program. You know what? I'll invest in these guys. Why? I'm in that business. They may be buying feed from me. They may be buying some technology from me, some best practices in embryo reproduction, whatever it may be that I'm involved with. All right, I'm going to invest in them. Oh, they have a limited use of technology and lack of the appropriate technical skills for farming. Guess what? I have an entire lab that's all they do all day long is start developing best practices to increase yields with the farmers. I think I could help them out with that. They have a lack of business management skills. No kidding. They're a bunch of farmers. Really? I have a lot of really good people that work for me. They have management skills. Organizational structures that inhibit their growth. If I'm going to support them, I am going to manage them as well. I'm not going to give anybody any money if they're not organized. I'm not going to do it. So I will put oversight within that organization, that SE that I'm taking care of. Lack of skilled and unskilled labor. I got a great HR department. Limited market access and ability to know daily market price information. I'm in the business. I actually create that market. So for me as a bioagrotechnology company, I see an opportunity here to grow real economic development using my best strengths against all of their weaknesses. That's a CSR program. That's a CSR program. I'm going to show you an example. You're going to love this. Time frame. How long is it going to take you to develop your CSR program that it pays you back? That's the answers you got to do. You got to do some business practices here. What's the realistic short-term objective and the long-term benefit? The benefits, non-tangible and tangible. Tangible means what immediate benefit are we going to get? We're going to see business increase. We're going to see social values increase right away. Those are the things I'm looking at. What's the benefit for the social enterprise? How do we measure that? Well, let's take Unilever with Prasad Shaki. Okay? They have gone out and they run a business selling what products? Whose products? Unilever. Unilever is a huge company. So I think